Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the physical education class. This is your second chapter, sports and nutrition, and we are on part number 3. And the topic that we are going to deal today is fat. Fat? What is fat? What do you know about fat? Fat is something like dal bafla. Have you ever eaten dal bafla? It is a famous dish of Rajasthan as well as Malwa too. So there is lot of ghee in that. So from here we get the concept that fat is something which is related with the something ghee, lot of oil and so many things. So now let us come. Today we are going to learn our new topic, and the name of our topic is fat. So now here in this lecture we will be able to understand what is fat, what are the activities of fat in our body, what are we will going to learn about what are the different types of fat and what is the utility of fat in our body. So let's come, we are going to learn what is fat. Come in the ocean of physical education, dear kiddos. So when I'm talking about fat, so fat is basically made up of three elements. First is carbon, second is hydrogen, and the third one is oxygen. Getting a point? So the fat are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. It is the most concentrated sources of energy. It is the most concentrated source of energy. So we can say that fats are the most concentrated sources of energy. If we take an average, the 1 gram of fat, the 1 gram of fat after burning, the 1 gram of fat after burning, it gives us 9 calories of energy. How many calories of energy? 9 calories of energy it will give to an individual. So when 1 gram of fat is burned, it will gives us 9 calories of energy. So I hope you understand this concept. Now let us move on the next part. Next, that is fat is something and it's a source of energy which used for the longer duration activity. Now what are these longer duration activity? Longer duration activities like marathon, 600-meter run, 1200-meter run, 1600-meter run. So those activities which are linked with endurance. Now what is this endurance? I earlier told you that endurance is the ability of a person, it is a capacity of a person to overcome fatigue. Now what is fatigue? See, when you are running so long for a longer duration like 10 minutes, if someone told you to run for 10 minutes, so there will be it's become tiredness for your muscles, and then you feel fatigue. It means the oxygen demand in your cells become low. So that is what endurance. So whenever we do a longer duration activity, this fat started to convert it into energy and provide us. Basically, if we think, the energy is stored in the form of ATP in our body. Alright, the energy is stored in the form of ATP in our body. What is this ATP? ATP is adenosine triphosphate. Alright, so this ATP, in the form of this ATP energy is stored in our body, and in which organ it is stored? It is stored in mitochondria. Mitochondria. Who discovered mitochondria? It's good for your NEET or JEE preparation. Mitochondria. So it is given by Benda scientist. A scientist named Benda who discovered mitochondria. So why I am telling you that mitochondria is discovered by Benda scientist? A scientist whose name was Benda has discovered mitochondria. And what is the full form of ATP? Adenosine triphosphate. And in our body the energy is stored in this way, in this form. So what we did, we learned that fats are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Fats are the concentrated source of energy. If we think that, or if we take an average, 1 gram of fat is after burning gives 9 calories of energy. It is the source of energy. It is the source of energy during the longer duration workout. So whenever you do a workout for 1 to to 3 hours in the gym, your fat will start to burn. So if someone want to slim and trim, it means an individual will have to work on his diet as well as he or she will have to go for the extensive workout so that the fat can be burned and he or she his or her fat will be loses and the weight can be lost. So here you understand that if we do a longer duration workout, then only the fat will burn. There should be sweat in our body during that workout. See, so the extra carbohydrates are converted into glycogen, and this glycogen later on mixed with the fatty acid. Alright, so in the earlier lecture what we studied about carbohydrates. So what we studied is the extra carbohydrates are converted into glycogens. And this glycogen, later on the extra glycogen is mixed with the fatty acid. So fats also carry, so here you can understand that fats also carry fat soluble vitamins. And what are these fat soluble vitamins? These fat soluble vitamins are vitamin A, vitamin D and vitamin K. Vitamin A, D, E, K. So as you all know that vitamins are of two types. The first kind of vitamin is vitamin fat soluble vitamin, and the second kind of vitamin is water soluble vitamin. So when I am talking about fat soluble vitamin, so those vitamins which are soluble in fat, examples are vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E and vitamin K. Fats are stored under our skin. Fats generally, when the fats, when as a person become obese, so fat generally started to deposit in the abdomen region and the stomach, it comes out and a person become obese. So the fat is in the skin, it deposited and it form a fatty acid. Alright, so what we studied, we understand that fats are stored in the skin in which form? So it is stored in the form of fatty acid in the body of an organism. Fat are important source of energy for longer duration activities. So it is very important to have a good amount of fat in our diet so that we can perform a longer duration activities. So now when I am talking about the longer duration activities, so what are these longer duration activities? These longer duration activities like 600-meter run, like marathon, like 1200-meter run or 1500-meter run. So these are some long duration activity. When you are doing work in your gym for 2 to 3 hours, it is also extensive workout or longer duration workout. Endurance activity. So as I earlier mentioned, that what is endurance? Endurance is the ability to overcome fatigue. So if you overcome fatigue, that is endurance. Now what is fat? So fats are important for, what is fat? Fat are the, it's a fatty acid chain of carbon, or fat are important for the functioning of glands and the internal organs. So what is the importance of fat? The importance of fats is the proper, absolutely correct, amazing, or we can say a perfect functioning of our internal organs and glands. Alright, so when I am talking about glands and internal organs, so fats is a basic requirement if you want your glands and the internal organs to work properly. Fats help to transport fat soluble vitamins. As I just told you that we have two types of vitamins, fat soluble vitamins and second that is water soluble vitamins. The vitamins that are soluble in fat are called fat soluble vitamins, and the vitamins which are soluble in water are called water soluble vitamins. So if I am talking about the fat soluble vitamins are vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E and vitamin K. These four vitamins are fat soluble vitamins, and the topic fat that we are going to study, this fat helps to transport these fat soluble vitamin in our body. Fats helps during blood coagulation, blood clotting, maintenance of skin and hair. See, if the skin growth of your hair is not good, if you think that in some time you become bald, so you consume a good amount of fat. See, whenever there is a cut or wound in our body, after some time some platelet deposited, that wound become little bit harder, and and then there will be the black layer over that, after 2 or 3 days. So who does all this? These all function is only done by this fat. So what's the function of fat? The function of fat is to blood clotting. Second is maintenance of hair and skin. Our diet should consist of 5 to 10% of fat. So how much our body required to fat? There should be 5 to 10% of fat should be there. How much fat is it required? It requires 5 to 10% of fat. So our body required 5 to 10% of fat, and it is very important to have this much amount of fat in our body. See, there are two phases of each coin. One is merit, and second is demerit, or advantage or disadvantage, or head or tail. Right? So if there is lot of advantages of fat, but if we take in an excess amount, then there will be lot of health related issues like cardiac arrest, like obesity. So if I am talking about obesity, then obesity is a major issue nowadays. So if an individual wants to slim, trim, disease free, so one should control over the diet and one should take a balanced diet. So if I am talking about balanced diet right now, so what is this balanced diet? This balanced diet is, I earlier also mentioned, why I am emphasizing more on balanced diet, because balanced diet is the most important concept in our life to be followed. This is micronutrient plus macronutrients. So what is this micronutrients? Micronutrients are those nutrients which are required in less amount of our body, like vitamins, minerals, water, etc. And when I am talking about macronutrients, so macronutrients are those nutrients which are required in large amount in our body. So here we need to understand that if we are obese or if we don't want this illness in our body, so we need to maintain the proper balance of the nutrient in our body, which is called a balance. Right. So as I mentioned here that 5 to 10% of fat is required in our diet so that our body can grow in a proper or sequential manner. Obesity. So if this amount of fat started more in our body, deposition more, we become obese, that is obesity, and many heart related issues or illness started to capture our body. Now see, I hope you understand this. Now we are going to learn about the types of fatty acid or fat. So fat is basically of two types. How many types of fats are there? Fat is basically of two types. And what are that? The two types of fats are saturated fatty acid and unsaturated fatty acid. So when I am talking about saturated fatty acid, so saturated concentrated, alright, unsaturated simpler one. You also heard this word saturated and unsaturated. Saturated, that is single bond, and unsaturated double or triple bond. You heard this in chemistry also. So when I am talking about saturated fatty acid, so saturated fatty acids, they contain chain of carbon atoms. What they contain? They contain chain of carbon atoms. So saturated fatty acid contain chains of carbon atom. They are found in dairy products, cream, butter, coconut oil, ghee, animal fat, etc. So if there will be a question, which among the following is not the part of saturated fatty acid? So out of this, any other option is there, so you can take that. So what are the if I talk about what are in which food substances the saturated fatty acid is deposited. So we can get saturated fatty acid from dairy products, cream, butter, coconut oil, ghee, animal fat, etc. They are found in solid and liquid form. So there may be a question in the board examination that in which form the saturated fatty acid occurred. So the saturated fatty acid are occurred in the form of solid and liquid, not the gas. They have sticky quality. So saturated fatty acid having sticky quality, chipchipahat. Next type of fat is or fatty acid is unsaturated fatty acid. Now what is this unsaturated fatty acid? So this unsaturated fatty acid is it's a fatty acid largely comes from plant. So here what we need to understand, the concept that when I am talking about saturated fatty acids, it's a contain it's a carbon atom molecule, and when I am talking about unsaturated fatty acid, it is largely comes from plant based products like peanut oil, it's olive oil, soya bean oil. So all the plant based products belongs to unsaturated fatty acid. Now the most important term which we need to keep in our mind, and there will be at least 2 to 3 question, it may be in the form of MCQ or a 3 marks question or a question attached with a 5 marks question, that is BMI. What is the formula of BMI? I earlier also mentioned that. So BMI is body mass index. What does it calculate? It calculates the body composition of an individual. What is the formula for BMI? The formula for body mass index is weight upon height. So what can you do? You can put your weight in kgs and you can multiply your height in meters square, right? So height into height, weight upon height into height. So I recommend you to calculate your body weight, body mass index, so that you can see whether you are obese, where you are healthy weight, or where you are in the category of over obese, right? Because it is very important to see in which category we are fit and which kind of diet we need to take and which kind of workout we need to follow. So now let's come and recapitulate what we had studied today. So we had studied that fat are made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, right? So next, fat is the most concentrated source of energy, and it is made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. These energy is stored in the form of ATP in mitochondria. Mitochondria is discovered by a scientist named Veda, and this ATP, when 1 gram of fat is burned, it gives 9 calories of energy. So this is the important thing that we need to keep in mind. It is a source of energy for the longer duration of workout. This source of energy required for the longer duration of workout. When the extra carbohydrates are remain, it converted into glycogen. In which it converted? It converted into glycogen, and that glycogen is later on converted into fatty acid. Fats carry vitamin also, like fat soluble vitamin. So fat soluble vitamins are vitamin A, vitamin D, and vitamin EK. A, D, E, K. These are fat soluble vitamins. Fat are stored under our skin, and in which form? It is stored in our skin in the form of fatty acid. At which form? It is stored in our body in the form of fatty acid. Fat are important source of energy for longer duration activity. So I earlier mentioned that what is the longer duration activity? The longer duration activities are endurance activity, that is the 600 meter run, 1200 meter run, walk, etc. Fats are the important for the functionings of gland and internal organs. So the internal organs like lungs, heart, etc. So fat are very important for the function of the proper function of internal organs. Okay. Next that I am going to talk to you about is fats helps to help during blood coagulation, blood clotting, maintenance of skin and hair. So this is the most important function of fat, that is clotting factor, that is raw factor, maintenance of skin and hair. Our diet should consist of 5 to 10% of fat. What is the exact amount of our diet should consist of fat? There should be 5 to 10% of fat in our diet. See, when we take a lot of fat in our body, there may be the risk of cardiac arrest or there are lot of health related issues. So fat should be less in our diet, like 5 to 10%, and it may lead to obesity or many heart related problems. Last that we are going to recapitulate, there are 2 types of fatty acid. First one is saturated fatty acid and second one is unsaturated fatty acid. When we talk about saturated fatty acid, so these are the chain of carbon atoms, and they are found in items like dairy products, cream, butter, coconut, oil, ghee, animal fat, etc. They are found in 2 forms, solid and liquid. And next thing, they have a sticky quality. And when I am talking about unsaturated fatty acid. So this unsaturated fatty acid are largely come from plant-based products like peanut oil, olive oil, etc. Last point that I am going to tell you is BMI, that is body mass index. The formula of body mass index is weight upon height into height, the height into height. The weight should always be in kgs and the height should always be in meter square. Alright, so I hope you understand the concept of fat. Alright, what this fat is made up of. I hope you understand the types of fat. There are two types of fat which is most important for us. In the next upcoming, let's now move. We are going to learn the next thing. So now we are going to learn about water. What is the importance of water in an individual's life? See, as earlier in ancient times said, Jal hi jeevan hai. Water is life. Water is expensive. Save water, save life. So let's save water and let's see what is the importance of water in sports. What is the importance of water? Water in our diet of an individual. Water is life. So first thing that we need to keep in our mind that water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. Alright, so what is the formula of water? The formula of water is H2O, that is 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. So water is made up of hydrogen and water. It is very important in our body for maintain all the electrolytic balance and lubrication of joints and so many things. Can you imagine your life without water a day? List out the things that you can't do without water. Since beginning of the morning, water play an important role. So what is the importance of water in sports and nutrition? What is the importance of water in one's diet? Let's come. As you all aware that water, our body is made up of approximately 70% of water. So if human body is made up of approximately 70% of water, adult should always take 2 to 4 liters of water in a daily routine. So water plays an important role in our diet and it is a basic requirement for the survival in this world. In summer, body needs a lot of water because see, when we do some physical exercise or whenever in summer we feel thirsty just because there is a lot of sweating. Water losses in the form of sweating. Same we can think with respect to plants. Plants, there is a lot of transpiration. Alright, loss of water is called transpiration from the leaves, and there is also a loss of water. Same with us. In summers, from our skin there is a lot of sweat, sweating happens. So it is a loss of water from the body. So in summers our body needs a lot of water just because of sweating. Next thing, physical workout also needs more water. Okay, what I written over here, I written H2O so that you can remember the formula of water. So especially for my commerce students, I wrote this H2O. So for a person who are spending a time in gym or doing some physical exercise, running, jogging so for them also water needed more, and water is a basic requirement of individual. Without water we can't imagine our life. One should drink a potable. Drinking or a potable water should always be clean, safe and hygienic. Because if you are taking water which is unsafe, it is unclean, unhygienic, there will be a lot of waterborne diseases. Alright. So next that we are gonna come is if water is reduced in our body, lead to many health related problems. So when I am talking about the importance of water in our diet, if water is reduced from our diet, there will be lot of health related problem in an individual's life. So let's come and understand how many percent of water reduce which components of the body. So let us understand one by one. See, if there is a loss of 1 to 5% of water in an individual, it results in thirst. Sometimes when you are sitting in a classroom or in a home, you feel thirsty. You want, Mama, please bring water. So why you feel? because on that time 1 to 5% of water is lost from your body with the internal organs or with the functioning of the body. So that's why this, whenever 1 to 5% of water is reduced from our body, there will be, we feel thirsty and we drink water. Next point, that is loss of 5 to 10%. When there is 5 to 10% of water lost from our body, there will be loss in our strength and endurance. Now the point comes, what is this strength? So if I am here and I can, hold this duster, so my muscles have that much power to hold it. Ability to overcome resistance is called strength. If I am able to push this board, I am trying but I am not able to push it. So that is what strength is. Strength is the ability to overcome resistance. Alright, see, this is a duster, and if I am able to push it and it is moving, it is, my strength is more, that's why I can push it. But I can't, push this wall, push this board, because I do not have that much strength to push this wall. So what is the strength? Strength is the ability to overcome resistance. Second thing, that is endurance. So what is endurance? Endurance is the ability to overcome or to overcome fatigue. What is fatigue? When our muscles feel lethargic, when we feel cramps in our muscles, when there is lack of oxygen in the muscles, that is what endurance. So what we studied? We studied that water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. It is, our body is made up of 70% of water. 2 to 4 liters should be in our diet. In summer we require a lot of water. Physical workout also need a lot of water. We should consume safe and clean water. When there is 1 to 5% of water reduced, we feel thirsty. Whenever there is 5 to 10% loss of strength and reduced water, then there is a loss in our strength and endurance. Now when I am talking about loss of 10 to 15%, let's take an example that our body lost its 10 to 15% of water. So what are the symptoms you can see in that individual? There will be dehydration, there will be feeling lethargy and body pain, eye pain. These symptoms will be observed. So whenever there is a 10 to 15% of loss of water in our body, dehydration, lethargy, body pain, these all symptoms can be seen. Well, then let's come to the next point, that is loss of 15 to 20%. So when there is 15 to 20% water loss in the body, there will be loss of memory, your vision will be blurred, and may you be faint. So you need to keep in mind that whenever there is a loss of 15 to 20% of water loss in our body, we feel blurred, our vision become blurred, and there will be loss of memory and faint. E, that is loss of more than 20% of water. So whenever there is a loss of 20% of water, it leads to death. So that's why I was telling you that water play a crucial role in our life. If there is a more than 20% of water loss from the body, it may lead to serious health related issues like death also. Now let us come, we are going to study about the importance of water. The very first importance of water is regulate body temperature. So regulation of body temperature, water helps in the regulation of body temperature in summer, in winter and in other seasons. Next is transportation of nutrients. Water helps to transport different nutrients from different organs in the body. So the first, that is regulate body temperature. Second, that is transportation of nutrients. Third, that is maintain body fluid. Now how it maintain a body fluid? So water maintain body fluid in the body, like body fluid, like there are a lot of fluids, lymphatic system, blood system, lot of things. So it helps in eliminating the toxin from the body also. Now what is this toxin? So whenever I am talking about toxin, it is totally related with the elimination of nitrogenous waste. So when our body, see, when we eat food, there is a lot of nitrogenous waste in our body, and then this nitrogenous waste is removed through excretion. So water helps to remove toxic substance from our body. Improve skin quality. So how it improves skin quality? Water helps to keep glow, and it helps an antioxidant, and it boosts our skin and it looks good our skin. Improve kidney functioning. Water helps to improve the functioning of our kidney, that is ultrafiltration. It helps to make our body more comfortable. It make our body to move this nitrogenous waste, ultrafiltration proper, so that the things could be gone well. Maintain electrolytic balance. What is this electrolytic balance? Let's say if I am written over here NaCl. So here Na is plus and negative is chlorine. So NaCl. That is how this water maintain the electrolytic positive and negative electrolytes in the body. Boost physical performance. So water plays a very important role to boost physical performance of an individual as well as improve digestion. See how water improve digestion. We consume food, right? When we consume food, it helps us to improve our digestion. And how this digestion will improve? We consume food, then after some time we take water, and this water then we helps for the better functioning and digestion of food and better production of energy. So after this boost physical performance, that is point number 9, we are now going to learn about our 10th point, that is improve digestion. These this water helps to improve our digestion process. See, when we take food, this food comes in our mouth, saliva mixed with the food. This food goes into the food pipe, then there is a peristaltic movement, and then it becomes in the stomach. HCl, many juices secreted in that, and then it moves in digestion occur and energy is transported in the body. So water play a great role in that. Now let's come to understand the next topic, that is food intolerance. What is this food intolerance? See, when an individual is not able to digest a particular food is called food intolerance. Food and the word itself say that intolerance. So when an individual is not able to digest a particular food is called food intolerance. So now let us come, we are going to recapitulate what we had studied today. So we had started with water, and water are made up of hydrogen and oxygen. There are two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. In our body is made up of 70% of water. Adult needs 2 to 4 liters of water for it to be routine. In summer, body needs more water as there is a lot of sweating due to some physical exercise and all. Whenever or the person who are doing physical activities, they also require a large amount of water as compared to the normal one. We should always drink a potable water. Potable, why I use this potable word here? Because in board exam generally drinking water, instead of writing drinking water, they use the word potable water. So what is the potable water? The drinking water is called the potable water, which is safe, clean and hygienic for use. If the water is reduced in our body, it may lead many health related problems. So the first health related problems, let's say if the loss of 0.5% of water, it lead to thirst. So what is it? I was talking about if our body loses its 1 to 5% of water, it results in thirst. And when I am talking about loss of 5 to 10%, so whenever there is a loss of 5 to 10% of water, there is a loss of strength and endurance. Now what is this strength and endurance? Strength is the ability to overcome resistance, and endurance is the ability to overcome fatigue. And what next we need to recapitulate? When our body, there is a lack of 10 to 15% of water level, so then there will be dehydration, we feel lethargy, and there will be a body pain. See, whenever you feel there is a headache, so I am giving you one suggestion. Whenever you feel headache, you just perform some Anulom Vilom. Alright, you drink a lot of water and you feel good. Right, because water helps to remove the pains from the body. Water also helps to feel good. Anulom Vilom, this oxygen goes into the mind. When we take oxygen from right nostril, it goes in brain of the left part. When we inhale from the left part, oxygen goes into the right part of the brain. So water as well as oxygen, these are very important parts. So whenever you are feeling a stomach ache or a pain in the body, go and drink water. Drink water sip by sip rather than continuously taking it up. So sip by sip water is good, and after food, after any meal, try after half and 1.5 hour you take the water. So next thing, if there is lot of 15 to 20% of water from the body, there will be the vision will be blurred, the vision become blurred, and there may be loss of memory, as well as the person may be fainting. Alright, loss of more than 20% of water lead to death of a person. So it is very important to maintain the balance of water in our body. Water play a crucial role to to live healthier and happier. Next that we are going to deal is the recapitulation of importance of water. So what is the importance of water? The first importance is regulate body temperature. The water keep our body temperature on a regulate according to the environment, like in summer, like in different climatic condition. It helps to maintain our body temperature. Transport of nutrients like carbohydrate, fat, protein, vitamins, minerals. So these water helps to transport all these nutrients into the different part of the body and helps in digestion. 2. Maintain body fluid. So water helps to maintain the body fluid in our body and helps to enhance the performance or the function of our internal organs. Eliminate a body toxin. What are the body toxin? All the vestigial items which is in the body, like nitrogenous waste. So through the process of excretion we remove a nitrogenous waste. So all this function like to eliminate the body toxin from the body. So water helps in that. Water helps to remove the nitrogenous waste from the body of an individual. So when I am saying that water helps to remove the nitrogenous waste from the body, it means the function of kidney taken place. Now what is the function of kidney? Kidney perform the function of ultrafiltration. Now what is this ultrafiltration? See, when our body, the nitrogenous waste is filtered by the kidney, and then this urine comes into the urine bladder and we remove it. So water also helps to improve the function of kidney, maintain electrolytic balance. So electrolytes like plus positive and negative charges. So this water also helps to maintain the electrolytic balance in the body. It boosts our physical performance. If the water intake in your body is good, then the physical performance of an individual is good. Improve digestion. Water also helps to improve digestion. The last topic that we are going to recapitulate is food intolerance. What is this food intolerance? Food intolerance when an individual is not able to digest a particular food is called food intolerance. Due to this food intolerance, there are maybe two types of problem, that is maybe a female athlete trait or bulimia nervosa, anorexia nervosa. So in bulimia nervosa, a person consumes more amount of food and starts self-vomiting and lead to more health related problems. If I am talking about anorexia nervosa, so anorexia nervosa, in this the person tries to skip the calories and lead to serious health related problems. So what is the important thing we need to keep in mind? It may be the 3 marks question, so you need to keep this 6 point in your mind and you will have to explain it also. These are the sub points. So whenever you are writing the answers in board exam, you need to write all these sub points, then you need to explain it. If the question is of 3 marks, you try to write that 6 point and explain them well. Right? Next thing, that is these all things can become as a form of MCQ. So I hope you understand today's topic, water, and the fat that we have discussed today. So it is very important to keep in mind. I hope this portion is totally clear with you. This water, we have discussed about fat. So you need to keep in mind from this portion there will be lot of MCQ based question, 3 marks question, 5 marks question. So start preparing it by today. The food intolerance may come in the MCQ basis. So I hope you understand all these things. We'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you so much.